On this fateful day 50 years ago, November 22nd, JFK was assassinated, and this is a live look at the JFK Memorial, the gravesite in Washington, D.C. as the eternal flame burns right there at the center of your screen. Washington is just one of the places. There will be ceremonies today honoring the life of JFK as well as here in Texas. It was 50 years ago today that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, still fresh on the minds of many Americans.
Many will be in Dallas today, marking that dark day in American history. Like our very own Robert Hadlock, he's there with more. Robert?
Hey, Sally. Yeah, this is a chance for the city of Dallas. They really want to do this to get beyond the stigma of what happened here 50 years ago today, and they are planning a dignified ceremony here. There will be no politicians on the stage other than the mayor of Dallas. Of course, President George W. Bush lives here in Dallas, but he will not be here. No other politicians beyond the mayor. 5,000 people expected here this morning to commemorate this event. And of course, 50 years ago, the president was here in Texas on a political fence-mending journey. He was in Houston, San Antonio, and Fort Worth before coming over here to Dallas. He was to have gone to Austin after today's ceremonies in Dallas 50 years ago. There was a big dinner planned at Municipal Auditorium. Veteran political insider Julian Reed of Austin has written a book called JFK's Final Hours in Texas.
I do a chapter called The Unfinished Itinerary, that most people don't realize. The dinner, we had thousands of people in Austin that day. We're already here. Hotels full of people to go to the dinner that night. There was no dinner. Young Ben Barnes, who was just a newly elected member of the legislature, he was responsible for putting together a prayer service that was held a joint session of the House and Senate in the House chamber that night. To fill that void. Everyone was crying emotionally about what had happened. Well, that gets lost in the history.
After the planned dinner in Austin, the Johnsons were to have had President and Mrs. Kennedy stay overnight at the LBJ Ranch in Stonewall. Prior to the assassination, Lyndon Johnson had specific orders to a female aide that the visiting Kennedy should enter the ranch house through the front door.
The last thing he told her, he said, "Don't let me bring them in through the kitchen." If you know the ranch, all the people always arrived at the strip behind, and they'd put them in golf carts and bring them in. They'd come in the kitchen, by the beer cooler, by the washing machine. And he said, "Don't let me bring them in. Make me come in the front door where they see the pretty part of the house." Well, obviously, they never had to bring them in the door. And Julian Reed asked Governor Conley if he thought there was a conspiracy going on here in Dallas 50 years ago. The governor told him, no, nobody can keep the secret for that long. 5,000 people expected here. It's going to be dreary, cold, and wet, and the best place to watch it, I think, is on television. We'll have the coverage for you later today over on KXAN. Back to you.